As usual, it was another crazy weekend in football. Stick around, see what we have to talk about. Hi, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Football. We're going to start with our Ask a Bookie segment, and then we have a little dare or bet that Cody lost. But first of all, we're going to start with Weaze. Weaze, are you on the phone?
Weaze is here.
The Weaze is here with us. Now, I was just teasing Cody because he has to chug his beer for losing the bet last week. So, can we go ahead and have him chug that beer for us before we start talking to you, Weaze?
Right off the bat, huh?
Does that mean I have to chug 2 beers for losing both of my picks?
You know what, Weaze? I think while you're home, go ahead and start chugging your 2 beers on your end.
Nice.
All right, Cody, let's get to it. Can we do you?
Yeah, we can absolutely do me. 1 to 10, how quickly do you think I can drink this?
I'm going to go ahead and bet, you can do it in...
10 being the quickest.
You can do maybe a 6.
6?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 6.
All right, yeah, everyone should know how long
No,
it's been
I think
since
you're going to underestimate how
Yeah,
much
it's been a while
that
since-
carbonation is going to affect you.
I know. Am I going to, like, electrocute myself
And
here?
Cody's not a
No,
drinker.
just don't drip.
Oh,
you
well,
know.
that's the thing. That's easier said than done. It's
You'll
been
be
so
fine.
long since I've had any
The
beer, let
battery
alone
pack
chugged
is
a beer.
very far from the top of the
All right,
microphone.
all right.
All right, here we go.
Here we go, guys.
Woo!
Wow.
Nice.
Whoa.
I'm very impressed.
All right.
Jeez Louise.
I think we just found out why he hasn't drank in a while.
I told you, I have an addictive personality.
Wow.
It's all empty.
Good
You don't need to check
job.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I would turn it over, but I don't want to splash the iPad there. So,
Wow.
Your face, you're like... Yeah, I'm a party favorite. What can I say?
Yeah, seriously. Pull that one out.
Duh.
so guys, as usual, thank you, Cody, for being a good sport.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you
of
so
course.
much. I haven't forgotten about my push-ups yet.
Yeah. You have to do those whether you're in a dress, chip shorts, whatever. Whatever, you have to do those today now that I did that.
I'm ready today. Well, today, as always, we'll be talking about what went down last night. We will recap the best things that happened Sunday night. And, of course, we had the Weaze on the phone. But first, a huge thanks to Storm On Demand. They are the reason that you can watch This Week in Football. Please go to stormondemand.com for all of your cloud computing needs. Okay, here we go with our Ask a Bookie segment. Weaze, let's do it.
Let's do it. I guess Cody this year now makes it 0-4 for the year. And I guess we're all looking forward to his pick this week.
Yeah, I'm a big O for this week. I mean, O for this season, pretty much. And it's getting to the point where it's getting kind of embarrassing. And I know I told Mo that if I lost last week, I started putting up my own money starting this week. So I definitely am. And it was tough because there was a lot of tempting picks this week. It was a lot of home teams I felt were getting too many points. Mm-hmm. Auburn is given 8.5 to Georgia. You have Nebraska spot in Kansas at 35 points. Texas Tech is getting 14.5 in Norman against Oklahoma. Texas is home dogs. They're 6.5-point home dogs to Oklahoma State. Ohio State is 18-point favorites over Penn State in a rivalry game at home. Notre Dame is 6-point dogs to Utah at home as well. And then rounding out my last two that I was looking at is Georgia Tech is 3-point home dogs to the Canes. And if you remember last year, the Hurricanes, well, Mo's not here, but he'll remember, the Hurricanes dominated that triple option. And Stanford, they're only 5.5-point faves over Arizona State in Arizona. So there's a lot of picks, and I wrote down who I thought I was going to, who'd cover in each one. But the one that sticks out the most to me is Alabama giving 14 points to Mississippi State at home. And this is a team that last year the Bulldogs gave Alabama a whole bunch of fits in Starkville last year. And so now Alabama's coming off a crushing defeat. Mississippi State's offense is rolling, and so I really think that they're gonna cover that 14 points. I don't think they'll win outright, but I think it'll be like a 10-point, 7-point game, and I think Alabama will win, but I think Mississippi State will keep it close. So that's my pick this week.
Okay, since it's your money, are you going to go back down to the 50s, or are you going to stay like a big
boy at 100? I'll stay at 50 just to dip my toe in the water this week. I've already chugged the beer. I don't want to
That's right.
Burn in hell for this
exactly.
week.
Let's wait till you win a game, and then maybe you can press.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you got, Weaze, for us this week?
Hopefully I can rebound. Sorry to my listening and gambling folks. That was an embarrassing 0-2 last week. Those Cowboys, I mean, wow, I was so happy when Wade Phillips got fired. About
Weeze,
4
you should have
weeks too
listened to
late.
me on the Cowboys pick. I told you. I was like, Cowboys, no way they're going to win.
I should have, but I didn't. But we're gonna rebound this week.
Let's do it.
Tennessee's playing Miami in Miami. Miami 4-4. I think this is their season. They can't afford to get down 4-5. Their team isn't good enough. So I look for them at home to beat Tennessee, and they're getting a point. And the second pick this week is New England at Pittsburgh. Teams that win Monday night with a short week tend not to do good the following week. New England coming off that embarrassing loss at Cleveland, which I'm sure you guys are going to talk about a lot today. I don't look for them to get embarrassed national TV. I look for them to come back and make a statement. And like I've been telling the viewers every week, I think Pittsburgh's overrated. So I like New England to win big over Pittsburgh, and I think Miami will take it at home.
Okay, so New England over Pittsburgh, and Tennessee loses to Miami by a point. Is that your final answer, Weeze?
That is my final answer, and I hope I can do better than last week.
Now, how about some college picks for us?
College, just go take a
Leaves
look
that
at
to
the
me.
game.
He leaves the losing to me. He picks vicariously through me the opposite of what I pick always. And it's worked out for him so well so far. So
Weeze, do you have no faith in whatsoever in Tennessee with Randy Moss being? Oh, Darren's shaking his head no at me.
well, yeah.
I mean, you don't think Randy Moss is going to be that big of a threat to maybe get Tennessee the win over Miami?
Just like he helped Minnesota his first game there this year? I don't think so.
I think it's more of a reason to pick against Tennessee this week is Randy Moss being there. I mean, Tennessee is a strange place for him to wind up. I don't think Vince Young is going to be able, or Kerry Collins for that matter, is going to be able to stretch the field and use his talents as a receiver, and that's really what he is at this point, is a deep threat. More so, he's just a distraction, especially the first game in.
I completely agree. They just run him down the sideline, just go deep, try and draw that safety out for us. Yeah. They hardly ever throw to him anymore.
Right.
I think he's just used for speed.
What's that, Weeze?
I'm going to give a college pick this week. You asked for a college game. I'm going to go out
give us
on
a
the
college
limb.
pick if you don't mind.
You guys already talked about the game. South Carolina, Florida. Florida's a 6.5-point favorite. Florida, people don't realize, they're just a bad football team this year.
Yeah. Oh, I very much realize that.
So getting 6.5 points, I think South Carolina would definitely be the play. I think they're two equal teams. Both aren't that great, but you're giving me 6.5 points, so I'll take South Carolina.
That's an interesting point, Weeze. I don't necessarily disagree with you. As a huge Florida fan, I'll be the first to tell you that this is a very average team, if not, like you said, bad. And South Carolina historically collapses in the second half of the season, and they've continued that trend this year. So I think you're right. I think they're two equal teams. Now, the game's in Gainesville. What does Vegas give for a home field advantage in a situation like that? Is that typically like 3 points for home field or what?
It's a 3-point swing, so a 6-point overall. So if this game would have been in South Carolina, it would have been around a pick 'em. But since it's in Florida, it's a 6.5-point favorite. So
Gotcha.
3 points either side.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I would. That's one thing you never do as a fan, or as a fan and a bettor. You never put money on a game when your team is playing.
Oh, of course not.
Never do that. Never do that.
That's true.
So I'll stay away from that game. But I do like Florida to win that. But I'm not even touching that line. It's more so I hope that Florida wins that.
Yeah, you hope they win. But I mean, Garcia is playing some great football, and Spurrier is coaching like he used to back in the day. So I know you have Florida as a 6.5-point favorite, but I'm going to go South Carolina on that one, all the way.
I like you, Erica. There you go.
All right, you have another college pick for us, or we're going to stick with Florida and South Carolina? Or you have another one for us?
We're gonna stick with that game.
Okay.
I'm not going to push my luck.
Okay.
And once again, thank you guys for having me on the show, and look forward to next Tuesday night, hopefully with 2 winners instead of 2 losers.
That's right.
Yeah, feel
Weeze.
better, Weeze.
Feel better. Weeze is a sick guy, so make sure you say a little prayer for Weeze.
Just a little flu, not keeping me off the radio. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
I'm glad Mo wasn't here this week. He'd be so angry with me right now. He went up to 100 last week.
Wow.
If you remember, my pick was Rice to cover
Tulsa. But you were right, though.
No.
You were completely wrong?
I was wrong. Tulsa blew
they blew
out
Rice out, yeah.
No, I can definitely, since I'm filling in for Mo today, I can definitely convey his anger at losing his money. He's like, when I see that Cody.
I'll make it up to him. I'll get him like a Christmas bag or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, you better.
Well, you could just win, maybe.
Yeah.
But now it's my own money. Now it doesn't even matter.
Now it doesn't even matter.
Now it's my own money, which is when I'm going to start winning. It's easier to bet other people's money.
So you definitely owe Mo an apology next week.
Oh, please. Mo gets nothing of the kind. I apologize for nothing.
Well, how about Jerry Jones, first of all, apologizing to the fans a couple of weeks ago. Second of all, last week he said, I'm not going to fire my coach midseason. It's not a good look for the Cowboys to fire a coach midseason. And then this week he fires his coach midseason. Wade Phillips is out from the 1-7, well, I was going to say winless, but 1-win Cowboys. About time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, seriously?
I completely agree. I mean, Wade Phillips has been going downhill for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time that somebody else gets a chance to coach that team. Because they're a team with a lot of talent. They're not a bad team.
But do they, in name, in theory, yeah, they have talent.
Yeah.
But they're not executing. So what's talent when you're not executing?
I think that's on the coach.
Okay.
You're not calling the right plays to allow these players to execute like they should. And I think that Wade, I really want to see if he'll get like another head coaching job. I'm betting no.
At like a D2 school, maybe.
yeah, he might have to go to college or something.
Flag football for like intramurals, maybe.
Seriously.
He's coaching his kid's little league team now.
Yeah, I know. No kid. That'll be the only head coaching job he ever gets. He'll get a coordinator's job because he's a good coordinator.
That's what Mo said.
But is he really a good coordinator?
Yeah,
though?
he is.
No.
No, yeah.
Well, I mean,
He
I
is a
think
good
you
coordinator.
guys are missing the big picture here is that he had a really great record with Dallas. I mean, last
30
year everyone was saying
Yeah.
at the end of the playoffs, these guys are Super Bowl contenders for the next season. And just because he had a streak of bad games doesn't mean he's a bad coach overall. It means he's having some bad luck right now.
Well, that's a good point,
No,
Andrea, because they were 33-15 under Phillips until this season. So he was having, a generally, good record with the Cowboys. But sorry, you have a $1.2 billion stadium. You cannot lose under any circumstance. And sorry, 2 NFC titles, that was so yesterday. I'm sorry, 2 NFC East titles. That was yesterday. This is a new year, and he didn't produce.
Well, and the thing is, he's just been riding Bill Parcells'
Totally.
success.
Exactly.
I don't think he's had, record aside, I think he's just got that because he rode someone else's coattails. And now that talent is starting to, take on a shape of its own, it's not Bill Parcells'. He has no identity for himself or of his team, and so it's just going to hell in a handbasket.
Well, what do you guys think about his replacement, Jason Garrett?
I don't even.
Well, gosh.
I think Jason Garrett's going to be the fall guy, honestly. I mean, he's going to step in midseason as he's doing, and he's going to, you can't revive that season. The season is over. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs.
No. That was 3 weeks ago they weren't going to make the playoffs.
No matter
Dallas is like the worst case of constipation I've ever had. No matter how badly I want to get rid of it, it will not leave me alone. It won't go away. Like, they just don't go away. We're talking about a 1-7 team as the head of our news item.
Why are we wasting our time?
Exactly. I told you the week they played Minnesota that neither team was going to the playoffs. I told you that. End of story. Shouldn't be discussing them. But to answer your question, Jason Garrett will be the fall guy, and it's perfect for Jerry Jones because here was this guy who was the golden boy to take over for Wade Phillips, and he's clearly not the answer.
And now here's your excuse to just get him out of there.
Exactly. So
I bet he picks up another head coach.
I have to interrupt because we have a very interesting comment in the chat room.
Oh God, I bet it's my
from Curtis. He says that his prediction is that next year the Cowboys will go 13-3, and his example is in 2007 the New England Patriots were 5-11 and dead last in the AFC East, but by the next year the Patriots were Super Bowl champs.
Well, and here's why this is going to happen. Here's why it's going to happen.
So you're agreeing with Curtis?
You know who the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys is going to be?
Nah.
John Gruden.
No.
Will be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And look what he is a master of 1 year turnarounds.
Oh yeah.
Look what he did he's a master of taking talent and turning it into like quick wins. Look what he did in Tampa Bay for Tony Dungy.
That's true. That's
1 year, the first year he's there, they're in the Super Bowl. I don't think Bill Cowher's a fit because Bill Cowher wants to have GM responsibilities, which Jerry Jones is not going to give up.
Gary
Gruden does not want GM responsibility.
He just wants to be left
coach a
alone
team.
and
Yes,
coach
exactly.
the team. Yeah.
That's why
fair.
I think Gruden will be there,
All
and
right.
that's why I think they're going to do. I think the Cowboys will be there in the Super Bowl next year.
So Cowboys Super Bowl champs or Super Bowl contenders in a year and a half or 2 years or whatever, you think?
This year, next
Darren?
year, next year, this time,
I don't know,
next
I
year,
don't
this
know.
time, I think we'll be talking about them rightfully so because
Okay.
they'll be 7-1 as opposed to 1-7.
Okay. We'll see.
That's a strong prediction.
That's a very strong prediction. We'll check back with you in a year. Back with you in a year, Cody,
I'll
on
be
that
calling
one.
you up.
I'm calling you up to see if you're right about that one. Okay, let's move to some college football. So we have the BCS rankings out again, and this time the teams ranked 5 through 10 are all one-loss teams. This is a kind of a weird, unique situation. I'm not a fan of the BCS anymore. I used to think, oh, okay, this is the best way for us to get our, college football top 2 teams in the national title game. But now I'm kind of feeling that the BCS, of course, as we said a couple of weeks ago, is only profit-driven. And I don't think it's a good representation of who should be playing in the top 4 games at all. You have 5 or 6 one-loss teams ranked 5 through 10. Darren, what you think about that?
I mean, I'm still a fan of the BCS.
Okay.
I like the BCS.
Okay.
I like all college football. I don't think that their league is dead by any means, but I don't think that they're going to send any great teams to any bowl games or anything like that.
Well,
we might see a couple, but
I mean, I like the BCS. I mean, I think it's.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone today. What actually I like less than the BCS, what I mind more is the fact that college football did away with my January 1st bowl games. Like I used to love love waking up on January 1st and just watching.
Well, we still have the Outback Bowl, don't we? Like in the no.
Well, I mean, but January 1st used to be the day.
game, yeah,
You
you're right.
have like the
Yeah.
Outback Bowl, you'd have the Gator Bowl, and then it progressively gets to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you're right.
Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl. You'd have them all in one day. It was amazing. And now you're ending the season on January 10th. That's what I hate. The BCS, I don't really mind that much.
Yeah.
That said, I could really change my opinion if at the end of the year we're sitting here looking at TCU or Boise State playing in a national title game.
Exactly.
That would ruin it.
And
for
I
me.
think that's what we're really heading towards, and that's why I'm kind of turning my head to it this year. I mean, TCU annihilated Utah this weekend, and so they keep stating their case week after week. Now, you and I agree that maybe they shouldn't be ranked so high based on their lack of a strength of a schedule. But I mean, still, like no one else is seeing it that way right now.
Well, and to your point, the situation where you have 5 through 10 or 5 through 11 rather, with one loss, that sets up perfectly for TCU and Boise State. If Oregon or Auburn loses, then no other team can leapfrog TCU or Boise State should they go undefeated. LSU won't because LSU's not even going to win their half of a division. They're not even going to win their division, let alone their conference.
You're right.
Yeah.
So LSU isn't going to leapfrog them. So basically, this past week, as chaos continued, it was the best case scenario for TCU and Boise State. If they win out and either Oregon or Auburn slips up, one of them is in the championship game, and heaven forbid should Oregon and Auburn lose, and it's going to be both of them in the national title game.
Yeah, that won't be a good look for college football.
No,
sorry,
and that's
won't
terrible.
be.
Like it's fun to see David beat Goliath a couple times, but when it comes down to it, I want to see a Goliath versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Like no holds barred, hell in a handbasket, just showdown.
And I'm no network executive, but I would step out on a limb and say that if TCU and Boise State were in the national championship game, that would not do what the ratings would do for an Oregon and an Auburn. Like
But
seriously,
don't you feel that's kind of an elitist attitude
It is.
towards
It's a
football?
very-
I mean, this isn't pro. If it was a pro teams,
it is a pro.
We're
It's
talking
pro.
about we're talking
It's
about
not
kids.
even-
A lot of these kids may have gotten scholarships to play football, but a lot of them aren't going to enter the NFL draft, or they're not going to make it. So this is like their chance to really shine on a national circuit.
they have the national game, but it just does not need to be the BCS national title game.
Exactly, and it's not exclusive to football, by the way. Basketball's the same way. Everyone wants to say they want to see like a George Mason, but no one wants to see a George Mason in the championship game.
Duke
They
or
want to
Kentucky.
They want to see George Mason
know?
upset some teams in the first couple rounds, and then they want to see a Duke, Kentucky, or a traditional power.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see in a title game. They want to see early round upsets, and without a playoff, we're left as college football fans for the regular season to be our playoff. So I love seeing the upsets during the regular season, but come the end of the year, give me 2 big boys who are going to knock each other down in the championship.
Yeah.
How about big boy Cam Newton in a world of trouble right now? So allegedly, he was, communicating with an agent who was promising schools $200,000 to get his commitment to go to Mississippi State. It just keeps getting messier and messier and messier. My problem with this story is that if this in fact did occur, it happened 2 years ago. And also today, the news broke that he cheated on some tests at Florida, and Darren, and he downloaded a paper from the internet and turned it in as his own paper. He stole a laptop and was arrested. You know, again, I do not condone bad behavior, but I almost feel that these stories are coming to surface now because Auburn is potentially, you know, the BCS title winner, perhaps, and Cam Newton is the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. So his name is being dragged through the mud, and I don't know that it's fair.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. To quote Cypress Hill, if you want to be a rock superstar and live large, you better be ready for this type of stuff. You better have your house in order. Yeah. And this reeks. I love Cam Newton. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's great to watch. You know, he's a heck of an athlete. But this stuff reeks of red flags. You know, and here's the thing: is more so than did he or didn't he do anything wrong. I just hope that whatever, if anything, comes out of this, I hope it comes out soon. Because I would want Auburn to miss the national title game and him be eliminated from Heisman contention now, as opposed to award the national championship to Auburn and then give him the Heisman Trophy, and then 2 years later come back and yank it away from him.
I agree.
So either the governing body of both these situations, the Heisman Trust and basically the media, because the NCAA doesn't actually award the national title, whoever is involved needs to make their decision quickly. They need to look into this. Because I don't want them to come back 2 years later with like the Reggie Bush thing.
Well, and as we already know with the SEC and the NCAA, the investigations go on for years and years and years and years. So it's not like we're going to find out anytime soon. So unfortunately, he might win the Heisman. I mean, not unfortunately, but if he wins the Heisman and it comes up a year later that he was ineligible, then Reggie Bush all over again. So
I don't think that. I think with all of these, like Cody said, the red flags, I really don't even think that he's really in Heisman contention anymore.
Really? You think people are going to pull their votes now? I mean, that's a good point.
That's a good point. Everyone can admit that he's a very talented athlete. There's no questioning that. But I really think that if there's, if there's accusations of theft, first and foremost, theft is a huge
Florida from
thing.
2 years ago, though.
It doesn't matter. Theft is theft. I mean, the cheating is whatever. You know, like it is my personal belief, and I will say this is my personal opinion that all college athletes cheat, with a small exception.
Okay.
Because I mean, they're not there to go to school; they're there to play football.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and if you think otherwise, you're just fooling yourself.
Well,
but I mean, if there is a real accusation of theft, I mean, that could really be a huge deal because that's a crime.
Here's the thing: these allegations.
But interestingly enough, the more serious allegation for his eligibility is the cheating as opposed to the theft. The theft is a criminal matter to be handled outside the governing bodies of college football. Yeah. The cheating could affect his playing eligibility.
Okay.
So that's the more I'm not saying it's a more serious issue, but in terms of his eligibility, it's a more serious issue, which could affect Auburn's. Basically,
but the cheating happened at Florida, though. The cheating happened at Florida, so it's like, why are we bringing up old news? Like, why? I mean, I know why we are, because he's at the top of his game, and you want to bring down the people at the top when they're doing well. Yeah. I understand that, but that happened 2 years ago. Why are we doing that?
Well, because if they go back and they say this happened 2 years ago, and this makes him ineligible to be at college, then every game that he's played in is then wiped off the books, which would affect this year directly. Whether it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Even at a different school, though?
Right, because it would affect his ability to be a college athlete. And that's why it happened with Reggie Bush retroactively. Even though it happened, years before, they basically said, had he been caught, he would not have been a college football athlete. So they can say the same thing about Cam Newton, that he would not have been eligible to enroll at Auburn. He'd be completely ineligible. So all these games would just disappear, and his stats would just disappear.
The only reason why these allegations came out is because he's a front runner for the Heisman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I said.
I mean, do you really think people would have been like, oh yeah, that one player stole my laptop, or he cheated on a test? Yeah. It's only because he's favored to win the Heisman that these things came out. Like you said, people are going to try and pull you down from the top.
They're going to definitely try to pull him down. Yeah. I really hope for Cam Newton and Auburn that these things are found to be untrue, and that he can still be a front runner for the Heisman regardless. That's my hope for him anyway. Okay, guys, moving on to Monday Night Football.
Bet he stole the laptop.
I must say that I picked Pittsburgh to win. Who in this room told me that Cincinnati was going to win? Someone told me. Was it Mo? Was it Weaze? Anyway, relish in my glory and say that I was right, that Pittsburgh got a close win, squeaked it out at the very end. My problems with this game, Ocho Cinco and his whining, T.O. and his pantomiming. Sorry, T.O., pantomime T.O. when you actually are doing better than 500. Ocho Cinco, whine when you actually have more than one catch for 15 yards. Okay, so that's my soapbox for that game. What you guys?
I mean, the Bengals are pretty much done now. Carson Palmer's been called into question. Here's another team that's not going to the playoffs. They're 2-6. They're at Indy this week. They're going to go to 2-7.
Yep.
Here's a team that they basically played their best game in a national spotlight, and they came up short.
Yeah.
Yep. So their season, I know NFL has a playoff, but if the regular season is a playoff, they've just been eliminated from contention.
Yeah, Darren.
I'm with him. I completely agree. Like, Steelers played strong. Bengals just haven't done well this year.
And it's really sad considering how well they did last year. I mean, but when you think about the season as overall, there was a lot of teams that were on top of their game last year that are doing really crappy this year. My team is one of them, unfortunately.
Oh.
But people are talking about Steelers being, the Super Bowl contender for the AFC.
Yeah, and Cody, you said last week that the Steelers were overrated.
I still agree with
I don't agree.
Yeah, no, I'm with them.
I mean, no, they're doing it on defense. Offensively, yeah, they could stand a little bit more work on offense, but defense, they're still dominant.
They're like the 2000-2001 Ravens, but without that good of a defense. They have a good defense, but it's not Ravens-esque.
James Harrison, enough said. I mean, seriously, like, he might be carrying the defense all alone, but he's doing the job. He's doing the job. I mean, they could have easily lost that game last night.
I really see the Steelers getting in the playoff and losing in the first round. I can easily see that happening.
I hope that happens. I'm not a Steelers fan at all.
Why? What do you got against the Steelers?
No, I've never liked them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that,
Do you hate Pittsburgh?
promiscuous quarterback they have.
Oh, Big Ben. He's a virgin. What are you talking about? Big Ben's a virgin.
Yeah, of course. Total
Can't be
virgin.
promiscuous if you're a virgin.
I think
We're not touching that.
I don't think any of his holes are virgin.
What?
Wait, what?
Oh, no. This took a turn for the worse.
Well, Andrea, I love that you brought up your team because your team, the Vikings, got a huge overtime win against Arizona.
I was so
But it's
excited.
Arizona.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, it was Arizona, but look how poorly the Vikings are doing this year. They could have easily lost that game, too. I mean, seriously, whether you love Brett Favre or hate Brett Favre or on the fence about him, you have to respect that he passed for 446 yards last Sunday.
Career
He's
high.
never done that. He's been in the
Career
league for
high.
100
And that's
years.
a long
He's never
time.
done
Yeah,
that.
I know. Him and Benjamin Franklin.
He had the best career of his season last year. So, I mean, it's not really surprising to me that he's breaking records this year. I mean,
And
he had
breaking
his
hips
500th
and breaking-
touchdown pass a couple games back.
Cody's talking noise
and-
about your quarterback. I just want you to know that.
Listen, okay, a lot of people
Don't
talk
take
a lot
that.
of crap about Brett Favre, and I'm not going to try to defend him because, quite frankly, he's got issues.
He does.
But no one can deny that he knows how to get it done. And he sacrifices for his team. I mean, he's been on the injured list almost every week this season.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
come on. Everyone could be potentially on the. You know how many people are on the injured list each week? This guy.
Yeah, but he's old man.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
different. It's not like he's like 23 years old and can handle it.
It would be pretty impressive if my grandpa was on the
grandpa.
injured
Oh,
list.
my
Grandpa
gosh.
I mean, so, but I still say his best
Whatever.
performance was in There's Something About Mary. His career's been downhill.
He
since
had
then.
a great performance in their game against the Cardinals on
He
Sunday.
did.
If
Well-
you can't admit that, then you're not a football fan.
But no, okay, I he had a good game, but again, like the Cowboys, why are we talking about the Vikings? They're not going to the playoffs. They're
Well, you know
3-5
what?
We
this
still
year.
have a
I don't
chance.
know about that now.
You're delirious. There's no way the Vikings are
You
going
know
to the
what?
playoffs.
I'm going to hold my peace on that one. 'Cause
I'll chug a 6-pack like I chugged this right in a row if the Vikings go to the playoffs. How about
wow,
that?
Really?
Andrea.
Yep.
Wow.
Really?
And you personally can carry me to my car and take away my keys and cover me up so I can
I
sleep there
will
for a
drive
while.
you home. Wait, what
Okay.
part of the city do you live in?
I live downtown.
Oh, damn. Maybe I shouldn't make this
Staying
bet.
over.
Well, how about the Eagles game? Now,
Oh, man.
now we were all wrong except for Mo. Mo said, you know what, the Eagles are going to get this win. I told you guys I was so excited about Michael Vick having the opportunity to win, but I wasn't going to bet with my heart. I was going to bet with my head, and I was wrong. And I was happy, though, that I was wrong because it was phenomenal. Eagles, big win against the Colts.
That game, I was watching it. It just looked like the Colts were just like sort of sleepwalking through that game. I watched it. And it was just kind of weird. I felt like I was watching like them play against a JV team, and they just weren't really into it.
Wow.
I mean, that's not saying anything against Philadelphia. Philadelphia played a great game, but I'm just saying they looked disinterested in their opponent, which is weird given Indianapolis. Wait, were they coming off of a Monday Night Football game also?
They just played the Texans.
That's right.
They had just
Which
beat the
is what
Texans. It was a short week.
Yeah, the second time
Weaze had a
around.
good point about that. You know, when a team comes off a short week like that, you kind of expect that. So maybe we should have seen
but it was a day short.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like they played Monday and then they played Thursday or they played Sunday. And they played Sunday and then they played what? No, they played Monday, then they played Sunday. I mean, come on, it's one day.
No, I agree. But that even that one loss that day, because what they basically lose is they lose their getaway day.
And then they travel, yeah.
They lose their getaway day, and that can really affect players' psyches. And I'm just saying that whatever it was, they looked disinterested, and they made it a close game. But somehow the Eagles won that game, and now both of them are 5-3.
Darren, how are you feeling about that game this weekend?
I was just a big fan of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, finally we had a really tight
It was a good
game.
game.
Both sides close.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime a game's close, it's fun to watch.
It was. I feel like you're not a big fan or whatever, but I feel like he's really showing that he can pass and throw. I mean, of course, now I think he's a quarterback that you want on third down. He's going to scramble. He's going to get those extra necessary yards, something that something that Peyton Manning definitely can't do. So I think that's what really helped them win the game. I know that's what really helped them win the game. So 26-24, take it or leave it. Big win for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Just Vic's ability to just get outside the pocket, I mean, that changes the whole defensive spectrum.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good game. I think he was like 17-29. He had,
like
200 and,
not that
200 and
great
some change,
passing,
one touchdown. So he had a serviceable game. But like you said, the fact that he has that ability to be a threat is always going to add, like Tim Tebow is always going to add some sort of...
Tim Tebow, what?
What I'm saying
In
is
college.
he adds another dimension that you have to plan for. I will still say that I think that's greatly outweighed by his erratic play, which I'm sure we'll see if he starts more often.
Who, Michael Vick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the more he plays,
more fumbles.
Yeah, the more fumbles you see, the more INTs, the more bad decision making you'll see.
Yep.
But on a one-game basis, he does add a dimension that you really have to plan for, or you're going to be in trouble.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, if you don't spy him, he'll run 30 yards on you.
He'll run a touchdown on you from the middle of the field. That's what he does. What did Cleveland do? Cleveland embarrassed the New England Patriots. I don't think anybody picked that one to happen. You guys told me a couple of weeks ago that Colt McCoy, you told me that Colt McCoy was a wuss because he didn't play the national title game.
He is
and
a wuss.
I said,
He is a wuss.
no, I said,
He is
no,
a
he's
wuss.
not a wuss. I said,
Wait, what? Did this game against New England prove you wrong?
they also beat the Saints too. He's beat 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks in the past 3 weeks. I mean, come on. I mean, he didn't do it.
But how much is
Are
that?
you really giving all that credit to McCoy?
Exactly.
No.
Really?
I think that when a quarterback does poorly, we blame the quarterback. When he does well, we give him praise. This should not be any different. I'm sorry. I'm sticking with the rookie.
Well, I mean, Trent Dilfer,
great job,
we didn't give
Colt
any credit
McCoy.
for.
Pretty boy, you suck.
Like, I mean, Colt McCoy, I mean, okay, he had a serviceable game. He was asked to throw the ball 19 times.
And he ran for a
completed 14
touchdown.
passes. Yeah.
And he's tiny. Like, he's tiny.
He is. He looks like Mighty Mouse. He
does.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is, he's not an NFL quarterback. He won't be starting. The Browns are where quarterbacks go to die, and so we'll basically see him out of there pretty soon. It is.
It's so right, though.
I mean, Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson, they go through quarterbacks like I go through underwear. I mean, it's just ridiculous how fast they turn over quarterbacks
It's
on
kind of like
that
how Randy
team.
Moss goes through teams.
Exactly. Or Cam Newton goes through laptops. I didn't say that yet.
Oh my God! It was just one laptop. He's only had one that he stole
That
and
we
threw away.
know about.
And I'm sure we'll find out more tomorrow. I'm sure. Okay, so you guys are over the Browns' victory over New England.
Yeah, let's not talk about
Okay,
that.
fine. We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone.
But I do.
Peyton Hillis had a heck of a game.
We can't just not talk about it because Darren's all butthurt about it.
I'd give a lot more.
I forgot. That's your team.
I'd give a lot more credit in that game to Peyton Hillis than I would to Colt McCoy. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But, just for all my New England fans out there.
34-14.
Yeah, all right. Just watch for New England go to the Steelers and just smack the living crap
Look at
out
you
of
jumping
them.
ahead.
Well, dude, it's
Jumping ahead. We have notes. They go in order. They're nice. When you,
I didn't know we were covering that game.
Well, he's taking up for his team, so we'll give him a pass. He has to defend his home city, so we'll give him a pass on this
Still
one.
got it.
Still got it. The Raiders, they had it again. Jason Campbell, that 47-yard throw to Jacoby Ford that helped them get in perfect field goal range to win the game. Who would have thought? I would have never thought that the Raiders would be on anybody's list to talk about anything other than nothing. And we're talking about them some more.
They have a winning record.
They do.
That's amazing for them.
It's crazy, and I would like to say that as badly as my one pick does, I picked the Raiders to win this game. And, you know,
I did too.
Okay, all right.
I did too.
All right, well, high five.
Yes.
All right. Well, and it's just amazing how Jason Campbell is sort of resurrected himself. You know, he got out of Washington, sort of didn't have any expectations put on him. You know, he wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the season, and he was 19 of 33. He had a great game, or I shouldn't say great game because he had a good game. And the Raiders are finally, that talent they've been stockpiling with those like 400 first-round, 400 number one picks they've had are finally starting to click, and they're starting to win some games. And in a division where no one is good, they may end up making the playoffs.
They could.
Which is just makes me guffaw a little bit, you know.
I like that.
Bet you didn't think you'd hear that on the show tonight.
No, I did not. I did not think that.
Give him like 2 weeks. He's going to throw like 3 interceptions, and then we're going to be sitting here being like, oh, Jason Campbell sucks.
I just hope we don't see once again the Chargers take advantage of a weak division and make the playoffs. I really hope that
it'll happen.
Actually,
not this year. Not this year.
I'm Chargers like Mr. Darren here. I do have a secondary team that I support.
And they are the Raiders?
And they are the Chargers.
Okay.
You cheat on your team?
I don't cheat. We're in different divisions.
You're a cheater.
We're in different divisions.
You're a cheater.
I have an NFC
You're
and
both
an
are
AFC
cheaters.
team.
Remind me never to date either one of you.
That's right. Cheaters.
You're not my type.
Listen, I was a bartender for a very long time. And if you don't support the local team, let me tell you, it's bad news for you, okay?
Not so many tips.
That's when you fake it. That's when you fake. Wait, what are we talking about again?
We're talking about the NCAA.
Yeah, we're talking about how Les Miles eats grass and it helps LSU to win games.
Oh, yes, it does.
LSU, well, first of all, Les Miles eats grass before the game.
So once you tell me smoke the grass, it works better.
He probably smokes the grass too, but as far as we know, he only eats the grass, and he does that as a tradition to become one with the field. Well, it is working for LSU this year because all the fourth down trickery that LSU has up their sleeve is working. They're number 5 in the BCS. Who would have thought that, 4 weeks ago when they almost lost to Tennessee when they were, having bad play calls. So I'm kind of feeling LSU right now. I'm kind of excited for them.
This is a lesson for all you kids at home. It's not that bad to sell your soul to the devil. Because clearly that's what Les Miles has done, and clearly it's benefited him to this point.
I mean, he beat Alabama. Who saw them?
Les Miles is a good coach.
No, he's not a good coach. He has no brain and a huge sack of balls.
No.
That's what he has.
He just wins it on pure guts. He rolls the dice every time.
He coaches the team like he's playing Tecmo Super Bowl. It's like, whatever, whatever. Okay, fourth and 23. Let's run a fake. I mean, it's what he does.
But no, I think it's smart. I mean, I guess logically it doesn't make any sense. But I mean, it's a game of taking risk, and taking risk is sometimes the smart thing to do. I mean. And he's doing a good job at taking risks and capitalizing on taking those risks.
Here's the thing about Les Miles. He's too dumb to know he's not a good coach, which makes him a good coach. Yes, because if he was a smart guy, he'd be able to manage those situations where he forgets he doesn't have any timeouts and calls for a spike on on third down when the game's ticking away. He makes up for it in the fact that he has ice in his veins, or he's too dumb to know the difference, and basically goes for it on fourth down.
Somebody hates Les Miles in this room, and it's not me, Cody.
I watched him 3 years ago, go for it on fourth down 3 straight times against Florida in Gainesville and got each one. So yes, I am biased against Les Miles.
That's fair.
But he is the Mad Hatter.
He's the Mad Hatter.
He clearly has sold his soul to the devil, and that's why he can quit. That's why he can keep ringing up these fourth down calls.
And that's why they beat Bama, and it was an upset that no one saw. Well, I didn't see coming. I don't think any of us picked that one. But how about Darren? You picked Texas Tech to shock Missouri.
We both did.
You guys are right.
Totally.
I was like,
I told you, Texas Tech is a good team.
They're not a good team.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Every Texas team is a good team.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
That's quite a blanket statement you just made.
In the D1, but
Okay.
Every year.
No, Texas Tech.
TCU, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Texas, all great teams.
You can say that, but Texas Tech's record does not reflect a good team. They're getting lucky.
I knew they were going to win this game.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean,
Good job, Dan. Yes.
See, it's funny because we're talking about Les Miles, and in the SEC, Tommy Tuberville was
Why are we going back to Les Miles?
Because Tommy Tuberville, the coach of Texas Tech, he was the original riverboat gambler.
Totally,
the guy who
yeah.
sort of had like ice in his veins, would call those trick plays on fourth down. Tuberville, I think, is a much better coach than Les Miles, and he's getting those guys in shape, so they're not going to be just an offensive, tactical. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but
scheming offense, and so basically he's actually turning them into a football team. And you watch, he's going to turn that program around. Not that it was in shambles, but he's going to turn that into a gimmick was the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Into an actual football team then instead of a gimmicky offense.
Yeah.
And he'll get them rolling. And he's been quiet ever since, we talked about this, ever since the Texas game earlier this year. Texas Tech has been lying in the weeds, and I think they sprung up on Missouri.
That was crazy. That was crazy. The TCU annihilation of Utah was crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of over Utah.
I called TCU on that one.
Did you call TCU on that one too?
Told you, Texas teams.
TCU.
Oh, I mean, Texas A&M upset Oklahoma too. So I mean.
And I called that one.
Yeah,
I had
you
faith
did.
in that one. I mean, Oklahoma again. They are not a top-ranked team. So, whatevs.
Whatever.
Whatevs.
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 Moving on.
How about some high school highlights of the week?
Big boy.
Oh, yeah, we have a big one for you guys this week. His name is Cyrus Kouandjio, and if I mispronounce that,
Kouandjio?
please.
If you mispronounce it, he's going to sit on your head. And he's a big dude, which I would not want him sitting on my head. I wouldn't want any dude sitting on my head, but that aside, he's a big dude.
He's a huge guy. He's a senior right now. He's from Hyattsville, Maryland, and he's ranked second in the nation at offensive tackle. Let's look at some of his highlight film. He's humongous. 6'7", 294 pounds.
Oh, that was just a chop block. Come on.
Okay, so a nice little...
That guy who looks like a bulldozer, that's him.
Yeah. Guys, he's 6'7".
that was
I
a
mean, come on,
pancake.
what has he been eating his entire life?
Red meat.
He's been eating other kids, apparently, because this is ridiculous. I mean, so, okay, let's get back to the scouting report. According to Barry Every's Rivals.com scouting report, he's obviously athletic and massive. Look how fast he is to be so... Was that him?
He's really quick right off, like when the snap comes, he's up really
Right.
fast.
Well, that's the thing. I'm reading the scouting report on ESPN. They basically say that this is and they have him listed as 6'7", 325 pounds.
If he's 325 pounds, he needs to lose about...
Well, no. If he's an offensive lineman,
But he's so...
But basically, they've said what's so impressive about him. He's the first person they've seen that's 325 pounds, but he looks like he's cut.
Yeah.
He looks cut.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's massive.
He's,
Yeah.
So you think it's all muscle weight?
He doesn't
I don't
look
know
fat.
how men pack
I mean,
on
look,
weight.
he's probably got a little bit of that butt that goes with the fat lady option in the car. But I mean, like,
Dang, Cody.
he's a stout, stock dude. Where he's got a huge upper body. He's very muscular, in his thighs. I mean, of course, as an offensive lineman, he's gonna be carrying around a little excess there. But I mean, he's a solid dude. He's not just some run stopper who's gonna, on the defense side, he's gonna clog the lanes. He's an athletic guy.
Do you think that they should redshirt him his freshman year? Or do you think he's ready to play?
I would, depending on where he goes. And
okay.
He basically has, he has the pick of the litter pretty much.
He
at
has
this point.
Bama knocking on his door, Georgia, Iowa, University of Miami, Oklahoma, USC, Virginia, Pittsburgh. I mean, all these teams have offered him scholarships. So
he has over 40 scholarships.
Over 40 scholarships.
Yeah, and so here's a situation where you don't want him to be playing left tackle as a freshman. You probably want him to be playing right tackle if he's going to start.
Okay.
And in the SEC, that's a really big ask, for someone to
are you
start.
saying ask or ass? I was like,
Both. You have to have a really big ask to fill that really big ask in order to start as a freshman. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of starting freshmen anywhere.
No, really? At
No,
any
I'm really
position?
not. At any position. I'm
Wow.
really not.
Okay.
So I would say that it would be really tough to, just because when you're that young, if you put a freshman in there and they don't do well, it can really ruin them. Like, it can really ruin
True.
what they believe about themselves. It hurts their confidence, maybe indefinitely. So that's why I'm not a big fan of playing freshmen. But this guy clearly has talent, and that's why I said it depends on the situation he goes into. If he goes into a situation where he has no expectations and no one's going to ride him if he doesn't have a good season, then throw him in there.
His brother actually goes to Alabama, Ari.
Ooh.
Ari. So maybe Alabama will
be
have
going there.
2 Kouandjios, perhaps. Kouandjio 1, Kouandjio 2.
I'd want to play with my brother.
I would too.
I had a friend who had twins. They named him Hector 1 and Hector 2.
No way.
No,
Cody.
they did
No,
not.
they
How
Hector
crappy would
1
it
and
be to be Hector
Hector
2?
Hector 2.
Maybe they switched. I don't know. It was like a bet each week.
No way.
No, it was. I'm not making up Hector 1, Hector
When
2.
you call your kid 1, 2.
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
So.
were they like Hector Jr. and Hector the Third? Was that what it was, or?
No, Hector 1. And Hector 2.
Jeez, Louise, who does that? Oh, I forget. You're from Florida. I forgot. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, kind of. Okay. So for next week's college matchups, Texas Tech plays Oklahoma. No,
I'm not taking Texas on that one.
Darren.
Well, I know that.
You just said
Wait,
that all.
wait. Have you seen Oklahoma this season?
Oklahoma's they look very mediocre in most
yeah,
of the games. They've looked explosive in a couple games, and here they are. They're getting. I'm looking it up right now. They're getting 14.5 points against Texas Tech. I like Oklahoma to win that game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna win. I think it's gonna be a close, 2 to 3 point game.
The spread.
I say Texas Tech wins it with the passing game.
Wow.
I do. I mean, I'm taking your little risk from last week. I'm going Texas Tech over Oklahoma again. I mean.
I almost don't want to pick a team for that. That's just one that I'll watch and
Okay.
just enjoy, you know.
Cop out. That's a cop
All right,
out.
fine, you're right. I think Oklahoma will win.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Why?
I just get a feeling
You just
from
feel it in your
teams.
bones.
No,
Feel it in
That's
your
how I
bones.
always picked, and I was so good when I was doing my betting. I was just like,
It'll be interesting.
team.
It'll be
That
interesting. It'll be interesting to see because Bob Stoops traditionally had Mike Leach's number. Mike Leach
Yeah.
came from his staff.
Totally.
He basically had his number all along. This will be the first year that they're playing. That they're facing off with a different coach. So it'll be interesting to see. That said, I think that defense will win this game for Oklahoma.
Okay.
And the fact that they're playing in Norman. I think if you were playing in Lubbock, you'd have a different situation. But in Oklahoma, I think that Oklahoma is really sort of struggling. They don't have the expectations placed on them anymore.
They don't.
So I just think that ability to come out and play loose, play at home, and have a good defense is going to carry them through in this game.
Okay, well, that's one for Texas Tech and everyone else for Oklahoma.
Watch for their running game.
Watch for who? Oklahoma's?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch for Texas Tech's passing game.
Okay.
What about Clemson and Florida State? What's going on in the ACC right now? Like, no one seems to want to.
No good football is
No
going on
good
in the
football.
ACC,
I mean,
I'll tell you
everyone
that.
is beating everyone. I mean, and it's not like, we're playing in a great conference where it's really hard to play week after week after week. Like, teams are losing to the bottom of the barrel teams and then rebounding the next week and winning, big games that they shouldn't win. I don't know what's going on in the ACC, but hey.
This is why I say that people say they want parity all the time. People don't want parity. Parity is the ACC. Parity is the Big East. You don't want parity. You want a dominant team where everyone's gunning for them and knocking them off. Because when you have parity, you get this crap that they're calling the ACC, and it's terrible to watch.
Average college conference, is that what you called it?
Exactly. No, almost competitive.
Almost competitive.
Almost competitive.
You have two nicknames, ACC.
And the Big East is the Big Least. You can go down the line.
Oh, wow.
They're all playing second fiddle to the SEC, and that's just a fact. But anyway, but the ACC, you're right. From week to week, anyone could beat anyone, and what happens is you end up with a whole bunch of 3 to 4 to 5 lost teams, and you don't really care about seeing any of them.
Yeah. So we don't care about who's going to win Clemson, Florida State. Even though we don't care. Florida State lost to North Carolina State. Then they turned around and lost to North Carolina. Are you serious?
Yeah. And
Florida State, seriously?
2 bad losses for Florida State. They lost because Christian Ponder dropped a snap against North Carolina State, and then they lose their homecoming game against North Carolina last week.
Who does that?
I mean,
Florida
although
State.
it was a fun game to watch, it was just, I think, the nail in the coffin for Florida State. I think, they're still in contention for an ACC title because almost everyone in that conference is. But I really think that this could be sort of like the game where they decide they don't want to play football anymore this year, and they just sort of mail it in. Clemson, I think that Dabo Swinney, I don't think he's a good coach, but he's a motivator, so I don't think he's going to let them mail it in. You add to the fact that they still have an outside shot at the ACC championship because, again, who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't?
And Kyle Parker is playing his last year there. He passed up the $400,000 or $800,000 or whatever to go play with Colorado. So when you have your coach and your quarterback who aren't going to give up on you, they're not going to mail it in, and I think Florida State is.
Well, Andrea, you claim that you always support the hometown team, so USC has Arizona. Are you supporting USC or Arizona this weekend?
I would rather spit on myself than support USC. I'm sorry, I did not.
So that's the exception.
No, there's another home team. It's called UCLA.
Okay.
Don't forget about them.
Okay.
If I'm going to support a hometown college team in Los Angeles, it would be UCLA. I just no offense to USC fans and to their program.
And you know they're offended right
That's
now.
so weak. No, you have to be like in direct offense to USC.
Yeah.
Those low life Trojans.
Yeah,
you gotta bring
You
the
guys
trash talk.
sucked.
You gotta
You
bring the
cheated.
trash
That's
talk.
how you want.
Okay, maybe I am trying to offend someone, but I just don't have any respect for the way they run their program. To me, it's just I know some insider things about the way that they
do tell,
Well, this is the
Andrea.
place to share it.
It's not good.
Did you hear that, Trojan fan? She says you all suck.
Yes.
No, they definitely don't all suck. Clearly, I think we all can admit that they don't
a
all
couple of
suck.
them live
I just
around
think
me,
that
so.
it's just. I don't like money in college sports. To me, it takes
Well, you don't
away
like college sports then.
Well, I know exactly, right?
Because
It's totally true. It's so
Everybody like
funny.
money.
I was having this conversation with someone being like, if you don't think that every college
Every
athlete's
single
paid
college.
off, then you're deluding
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, yeah.
I'm not trying to pretend like I don't know that. I'm just saying it's sad that it's that way.
By
I
the way,
just
my
think it's
official
sad it's
position
that
on
way.
USC is that I don't mind the team. I just hate their coach.
Who, Kiffin?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Everyone
Yeah,
hates
no, and
Kiffin.
that's my position as well. You can't fault the players for the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't take
I just think it's another
if someone puts
team's
money in your
time to
face, you're
shine.
gonna take it.
Yeah,
Of
take
course. Hey, listen, if someone offered me a car and a $300,000
Yeah.
house, I'd say, you tell me what to do and I'll sign.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what I mean. Yeah.
Hey, kid, here's a suit, you know?
I'll take a suit, especially when these guys can't even have summer jobs because they're playing football all year round.
Exactly.
So don't take that money. Don't listen to us.
And by the
Don't
way,
listen to
Arizona
us.
wins the game.
Arizona
take that
wins the
money.
game. Arizona wins the game. You're right. Okay, guys.
I'm kind of with that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with
Even though the
that.
Arizona came off a blow-off
They
loss.
did.
I know, but
Crazy.
USC is not the USC that we
They're
all used
not.
to talk about.
Well,
They're little instead of
my insider info for this week's Thursday night football game is going to be Baltimore, Atlanta. Atlanta wins by a touchdown. No, by 3 points. Who's with me? Who's not with me? If you're not with me, then you are wrong.
why even bother?
She's like, don't argue with me
don't wanna be
because
wrong. I mean-
I'm right.
Auto-tune that?
I'm just right. I mean, it's a big game for both 6 and 2 teams. I mean, Atlanta is playing some really solid football. Their running game is off the charts right now. Michael Turner's doing his thing. But then, you have the Ravens, who are defensively still dominant. I know you were saying that they're not as dominant as they used to be,
Right.
perhaps, but I mean, both teams are getting it done in their respective divisions. And
Yeah.
Ray Lewis talked today about how he's on a short week, or they're on a short week, because they just played Sunday night, and now they're playing Thursday against the Falcons, and they have to travel, so they are going to be at a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah.
But, whatever, I think Atlanta beats them regardless.
I think the battle here is Matt Ryan versus the
Flacco.
Baltimore
Oh, yeah.
defense.
Defense, yeah.
And I'm a huge Matt Ryan fan, so I can't wait to see what he does.
He's not going to do much.
You think so?
I mean, no, I thought you meant Joe Flacco. What am I thinking?
No. But however, those are the only 2 rookie quarterbacks. When they both came into the league,
They were both
I've
solid. Yeah,
always
you watched
hated
them,
rookie
yeah.
quarterbacks. Just always hated them.
Like you hate Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But those 2 guys, I was like, oh my God, these are the guys that I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
These guys who actually made a good transition from college football into the pros. Like the first time I saw Joe Flacco play, he was like running around the outside,
Yeah.
Throwing great balls.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's awesome.
Yep.
I'm big fan of those 2 quarterbacks.
we had this
I'm definitely going to watch that game.
Are you going to say Atlanta, though?
You're a fan of young quarterbacks? Are these guys rookie,
No,
rookie
it's just
quarterbacks
like
young?
I hate rookie quarterbacks.
Don't you remember a conversation we had a couple weeks back about you saying you don't like young players?
I just called him out on it. I called him out on
No.
it.
I said for rookie quarterbacks to come in, I usually hate all rookie quarterbacks. But when these guys came in, they actually impressed me as rookie quarterbacks. And I was like, oh, this is very refreshing.
Yeah.
Because you see so many quarterbacks come into the draft every year with so much hype around them.
Jamarcus Russell.
They get into the
Tavares
NFL
Jackson.
and they suck.
Yeah. You
Like
do.
every year we see this.
It's, yeah.
When
I
they came
agree,
in,
I
they
agree.
worked. I was like, good, nice.
Well, and we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing happen with Flacco is they're starting to put the leash on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hurting his ability to do what he does best.
Yeah, he's a crazy player.
He's a
Let him
he's a
do-
crazy man.
Who you got?
Crazy.
Who you got, Cody? Do you have
Crazy.
Atlanta or do you have Baltimore?
Well, I just didn't. I would love to say something different, but I really think that Atlanta's going to win.
I think
this
so
game.
too. Yeah. Atlanta, the pressure is on, guys. We are predicting a Dirty Bird over the Baltimore Bird win. So
Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Birds. Battle of the Patriots versus the Steelers.
What would win in a fight, a falcon or a raven?
A falcon would win.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Falcons are dirty birds.
Although ravens are the most, or no, excuse me.
They just hang
Those
out
are
by
crows. I'll save that for
the
something
top
else.
of the door.
Crows. New England, Darren, your team,
Yep.
at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I said it.
No.
And I can say I don't feel that pick. It's not sitting right in my bones. However, it feels like the right thing to say. So Pittsburgh's my pick.
Yeah, I think you're
Am I
wrong
crazy?
on that. Yeah,
Okay.
because like New England, I think it's just like all in the psyche of Bill Belichick.
Okay.
But when he gets beaten, he takes it as like a personal vendetta. He's like,
Yeah.
I will come back and spank the next team that I play.
Okay.
So watch for New England to run all over Pittsburgh. They're going to be playing with a tremendous amount of heart.
Andrea, you don't like the Steelers. You don't like Pittsburgh, right?
Quite frankly, I don't like either team.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Talking
wait.
about it.
You're not allowed to say.
We're
You're not allowed
talking
to-
about it.
Quite frankly, I think you're the Stephen A. Smith on this show. Quite
Listen,
frankly.
Pull out the
listen.
North Dakota accent.
Well,
I-
quite frankly,
I
oh
know
gosh,
enough
if I
about
hear that
both
one more
teams
time.
to realize that I really believe that if you think New England can beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, you're kind of crazy.
Darren, that's you.
I
That would
just
be
think
you.
that Pittsburgh is looking really strong. As much as I don't support them as a team, I'm not going to deny the fact that they're performing well and that they are, doing really well in their conference. And at home, they're very strong. Even on the road, they're very strong this year. And I just don't think New England can make it happen.
I mean, New England's 2-2 on the road this year. They're 50%. They're 500. I'll get that. And Steelers are 2-1, I think, at home this year. So I mean, they do have Pittsburgh plays well on the road, at home, whatever. I just think that New England has a lot to prove this week after laying that
They
egg.
do. They do.
Yeah, that was just
But-
embarrassing.
You don't want to prove it against the Steelers, though. I mean,
But they take on the persona of their coach, and
No.
Bill
Completely
Belichick, that man has no life outside of football whatsoever. So his wife's probably unhappy because he lost. Probably every area of his life is
life goes
miserable right now. So he's got to get back on track just so he can go home and have a life. And so I think that pervades into the team. And I really think that New England's going to pull this one out.
Bill Belichick is one thing that he's amazing at is he gets a feel for other teams.
Yeah.
Like he's got completely different game plan for every
does.
time Pittsburgh comes
You're right,
around.
you're right.
He's like, oh, got to pull out that game plan again.
Yep.
And in our past, we've always beaten Pittsburgh. Watch us do it again.
watch you not do it again.
Touche.
Touche.
All right, next week's gonna be fun when they win.
Okay, Tennessee at
Wait,
Miami.
wait,
Yeah.
wait, you guys gotta put a bet or something
Okay.
on it. You guys gotta put a bet or something.
I bet you that Pittsburgh wins.
What do you want to
What are
bet?
the stakes?
That was my bet. Okay, let's see.
I think you should bet that if you'll wear each other's, you'll wear Darren's clothes or he'll
Okay.
wear your clothes.
All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
All right. So
Okay.
if you win, you bring in something for her to wear on the show.
Okay.
If you win, bring in something for him to wear on the show.
We have to check with the producers on that one, but we'll see.
There we go.
How about Tennessee and Miami?
I'm glad I'm not gonna lose.
I'm glad I'm not involved in this bet.
We'll see. Randy Moss, his first game with the Titans versus Miami. We kind of already touched on this a little bit. You guys pretty much said the Dolphins have this one, right? We're going to go with that one. I mean, Titans are kind of suffering at the quarterback position. Kerry Collins is now playing for an injured Vince Young. I mean, he sprained his ankle, I believe, and he might be doubtful for Sunday. So can Kerry Collins defeat the Dolphins defense? Can Randy Moss be that big of a deep threat to help the Titans win? No, in Miami?
Did you say Kerry Collins?
I did say Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins can't defeat anything.
No, he can't.
Okay.
He really had a tough time with alcoholism, let alone a football game. He's really gonna struggle out there.
If anybody in the NFL actually watches this show, we have so many people who want to kill us. Mark Sanchez is just waiting for the day to see me and wring my neck.
Oh,
And I'll be like, keep doing underwear, Mom.
I'm serious. Kerry Collins is. He's a weak guy. He got a weak arm, got a weak will, can't stay away from the drink. He's just. Here's a guy who's just like I just don't think he can carry a team.
booze hound.
Yeah, the freaking guy. But
it's called Kerry Collins a booze hound?
Yes.
What the? Okay.
I love the show. I love the show. All right.
And the Monday night game. Oh, geez, Louise. McNabb.
What other weaknesses can we pick on the guys in the Monday night game?
I know. Well,
that's perfect.
McNabb's
old.
Exactly.
Speaking of weaknesses, Mike Vick's going to be starting in that game. I wonder if there's going to be any dogs in the stand.
Oh, my God. Not the dog reference. Hey, he served his time for those dogs. Now, come on.
And it's a legitimate sport.
In the South.
You guys are out of control over there.
No more crack before the show.
No more crack before the show.
Hey,
we had to get our crack
Yeah,
reference
Cody,
in
did
there.
you get drunk at all? A little buzz? Maybe?
Probably.
Dude, he put it down like
I
a
mean, I'm not
second.
Kerry Collins. I can't just drink and do a show and not have any
Yeah, but
effect
you're
on
not.
me.
But you're not. You know, come on, you're not a little featherweight guy. You got some muscle
Look
on
at these
you.
arms.
But I'm no, what's his name?
Cyrus Kouandjio.
Yeah, I'm no Cyrus Kouandjio either.
Kouandjio. Kouandjio doesn't drink either.
I haven't had alcohol in so
Yeah,
long.
he does. In high school.
Oh, he doesn't drink. Come on.
Every night.
Well, really quickly, guys. Philadelphia Redskins. I say that Michael Vick and the Eagles work their magic again. Redskins are having so much quarterback controversy. That alone enough is reason to make me believe that the Redskins can't pull out a win. I mean, when your coach doesn't have any faith in you, as Shanahan does not have in McNabb, I mean, that really messes up with the psyche of the team. So I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this will be a fun game to watch because it's sort of reminiscent of the NFC Championship game a few years ago when you had McNabb
2005
and Vick in that game, and that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
And so this will be interesting. But I think that Shanahan really ruined this season for the Redskins.
Oh yeah, it's
I
over.
really think he did.
It's over.
So look for Vick to pull out another victory, but not too
Victory.
many.
Darren?
Yeah, if Vic plays well, Philly will win because coming off of a big win, everybody on that team's really pumped about that win. So if Vic plays well, yeah, I think they'll definitely beat Washington.
Andrea, who you got?
In Eagles versus the Skins? Oh, I don't know.
Could be unanimous.
I would like to see the Redskins win.
Really? Okay, well.
Unanimous.
Yes.
And on another note,
Listen, they've been down on their luck for a while, and they were having, they're like so close to having a good season, but they're like just outside. It's like just outside of their grasp. And I think it's really kind of tragic the way everyone in the media is pitting poor Donovan McNabb, and making fun of him about like, oh, he doesn't know the plays, and there was that whole story about him saying it was like he laughed at the fact that he doesn't know the offensive plays or whatever, and I would like to see them win.
okay, so we got 1 for the Skins and 3 for the Eagles. All right, guys. Well, as always, make sure you check back with us next week to see who was right, to see who was wrong, and to see me do my push-ups that I still owe Cody.
No, we can do them right now, man.
I'll just do them. Hurry
Listen,
up.
Okay.
I will move the camera. Let me take my
boy.
microphone off here.
Oh,
Hold
boy.
on.
Oh boy, oh
I
boy.
got it. I know the studio guys are probably freaking out. But if you just do it right here, I will.
Is that camera even on?
How many am I doing?
It's on. The camera is on.
Which way am I facing?
Right down here in the front.
Okay. And how many am
I
I
don't know
doing?
if that camera's on.
You're doing.
I don't know. Let's see.
How many? Okay, I'll just do, I don't know,
10?
10. Okay. 1, 2.
There we go.
Those aren't push-ups.
Those are push-ups.
No, they're not!
You gotta get your chin and chest at the same time.
Okay.
Well, the beauty part was all you saw was her back and her head
Yeah.
come up and down like this.
And me.
Apparently that camera was not hooked into the
I
TriCaster,
told
which
you.
is totally fine.
I told you.
That was the
She did
special
it. I do want to
camera.
remind everybody out there that we do have a Twitter account. You can tweet us at TWI Football if you guys agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you think our picks are crap, or if you really like it, let us know. And just as a reminder, we will be doing a Super Bowl bracket contest once we get closer to playoffs. So stay tuned for that. And back to Erica.
Okay, so I'm winded, but it's okay because check back next week when I don't have to do push-ups and someone else loses a bet. Again, make sure you keep checking back with us, and make sure you log on to stormondemand.com because they are the reason that you can watch us, Andrea in the chat room, Darren Dodge over here, Cody Swann, and me, Erica Davis, host every Tuesday night at 7:30 This Week in Football. See you next week.